everyone, I'm Miss Alyssa.
And I'm Miss Teresa.
And welcome to our December episode of our book talk.
Yay!
So this month we read The Extraordinary
Education of Nicholas Benedict.
It's a bit of a mouthful.
Yeah.
And it's by Trenton Lee Stewart.
Okay, so this book has to deal with orphans, especially one orphan named Nicholas Benedict, and you start the book off when he's being transferred to a new orphanage. And we find out during the story that there may be a secret treasure that's attached to this orphanage, and he's going to use all of his smarts because Nicholas is extremely smart. He can read books and just remember everything about it.
Also, something interesting about Nicholas is that he has narcolepsy, which means that when he gets excited or scared, he falls asleep.
Yeah, any really big emotion and he's out like a light. But not even emotions. Like sometimes he just has to go to sleep, and so he'll find a place and he'll just go to sleep. So that makes it a little interesting too, because right when things start getting good, sometimes he has to go to sleep.
Which is interesting. And you know, we read so many great books this year. With so many action-packed. I was kind of disappointed by this book.
You know what? I was too. Not that this isn't a book for a good book. Like some people I think would really enjoy it, but there were some things that just really I didn't enjoy. And
yeah, and I gotta say, a lot of the books we've read in the last couple months have been really fast-paced and a lot of action and adventure, which is what I love, you know? And this was a little bit slower. And not to say that I didn't like the book at all, because I did like parts of the book, but it was definitely probably my least favorite.
And I'm okay with a slower book. Like that doesn't bother me as much. But like you said, there were certain things that I really enjoyed, but there was a lot of things that I didn't enjoy that just kind of made for this book kind of hard for me to read.
Yeah, it was just harder to like.
Yeah. If you guys have watched any of the other book talks, you guys know that I love friendship and I love teamwork. And it was really hard because it took a really long time for Nicholas to have a friend in this book. So he was alone for a lot of it, which made me really sad when I was reading it. And now, once he got friends, it was great.
I would say, like, yeah, it was like the first 200 pages, he's basically alone in this new orphanage, and he has to, you know, go through a lot of struggles. And I think for me, it would have really helped if he had a friend, at least one friend, maybe just John.
Yeah,
and to share all these crazy instances with.
Yeah, him sharing that, hey, there's a treasure right away and I've got to figure it out, and let's try to beat the spiders kind of thing. Like that didn't happen until like later on in the book. And so it's really hard to read about Nicholas being alone and feeling sad. And then also the adults. I really didn't like a lot of the adults, which made it really hard to read too.
Which, if you saw our previous book talk, we read The Oddmeyer Changeling, and the adults, we really liked them in the book because they show respect to kids, because just because kids are younger doesn't mean they can't be respected. But definitely Mr. Collum, the nurse, they were just, and they felt like they were just mean for no reason.
I would say almost all of the adults, except for Violet's parents, which you don't really meet. Like everyone was kind of cruel to these kids when I didn't think they needed to be. Like when the kids have nightmares. And so then they put them in the dunce hat and they give them more chores because they have a nightmare. They're kids. And it really made me, like I said, sad. Like a lot of this book made me really sad for Nicholas and the kids there. They're already, you know, some of these kids have never known parents or know family members. Others have just lost them. And to be put into a place like this and then not have the adults in their lives understand them or care about their feelings just didn't seem unfair and seemed unnecessarily cruel. You can take care of kids, like, you know, yeah, they fed them and they had their education. I was like, but kids need other things too.
Yes. And I will say something else like was hard for me to deal with the book is Nicholas. He's not very nice. I mean, he's nice, but he doesn't seem to care much about other people's feelings or how his actions are going to maybe affect other kids or even adults.
So I would compare it to the book that we read in October, which was Small Spaces. So that character, she starts off kind of mean, and then she grows and I think appreciates everyone in her life. And I think this is the same instance with Nicholas.
Yeah, maybe mean is the wrong word. Maybe I mean he
doesn't understand other kids. I don't think so.
I guess he's more concerned about what's going to happen to him, which makes sense because he's an orphan and he's never had friends. So yeah,
and he's never had family. Yeah, because of being so smart and having narcolepsy, I think that he feels like he's always been separate from everyone else. So it takes this whole book for him to grow and to understand other people.
He's very slow to open up to John, who he wants to be friends with.
Yeah.
And even Violet, who is, doesn't really give him any reason not to like her.
Yeah, she from the very beginning wants to be their friends because, Violet's lost someone in her life too. And so she's trying to build relationships as well. I do like that Nicholas grows up by the end of the book. He realizes that it's not just all about him, that he needs to also think about maybe the other kids too. The spiders aren't just after him. They're making everyone miserable.
Yeah.
And that maybe he could do something to make everyone's life better at the orphanage. And so I do like that part. And that he explains to Violet when he thinks that John has been adopted by someone else, that he explains that, he's never thought of it like that. And so now it's made him think of all these different things and that he wants to do better and help people and stuff. So I did like that part.
I would say I would have really liked to have seen more of Violet, John, and Nicholas's adventures together. I think that would have been a lot of fun. We got a little bit of that at the end.
Yeah, it was a lot of just focusing on Nicholas, which isn't bad sometimes. But again, I really like when people work together and when they're having the friendship, So it was
Miss Teresa's all about friendship.
I'm like, friendship, yay! So I love books like that, and I love the storylines like that. So when I see that they meet again at the Giant's Head to discuss what's going on, but a lot of it just kind of centers around Nicholas and him going to the town to the library to read, and him trying to come back and tell everyone the things that are happening, and him doing things at night. Maybe if John can't get out of the boys' dorm room, so it's a lot of separate things. And
so, it's easy to say stuff we didn't like, but there's also a lot of things I did like about the book.
Oh yeah. Yeah, there was great things too. So obviously when Violet, John, and Nick are together,
I like it.
Yeah, it's great. It's great.
Yeah, I think they all complement each other really well, and they all have strengths and weaknesses. I think it's really cool that Violet is deaf and she signs, and then Nicholas is he's so smart that he's able to pick up on how to sign to her and have conversations with her like that. I think that was so cool.
I was like, it's okay. So I also really like that they focused on books being a treasure.
That's true.
That even though they didn't find the money or, the inheritance, Mrs. Rothschild, she was the one who wanted a library.
One of the good adults in the book.
Yeah. And so Nicholas, exactly. Nicholas doesn't believe that she's just so caring. And selfless, and that she just wants to help people. But she is, and that's part of her traits, and that's what her husband sees in her. And so she doesn't want the recognition. That's why they can't find any mention of where her inheritance has gone, because she just wants the town to have a library, a free public library, so that people can share information. And I like that.
Yeah, that was another theme of the book that I really liked, about how knowledge is power, and knowledge or learning new things can be fun.
Yes.
Nicholas, he's so excited just to go to the library and read. I don't know if I would want to read the encyclopedia and dictionary, but
Nicholas, he did. He's finding joy in learning new things, and learning new things that he eventually can help, make the orphanage better, or help the kids, with him on his bike, making the music go. I love that. I think that's cool. So good. Or is it the teeter-totter with the butter?
Yeah,
the churning.
Teeter-totter. Teeter-totter butter churner.
Yeah, where the kids can't wait to do their chores.
Yeah, and I will say I really liked how Nicholas's mind worked, just how he rhymed everything. I found myself doing that sometimes. So I enjoyed his inner monologue, what he was saying to himself. I thought that was fun.
I like that he did that he didn't really care sometimes what people thought of him as long as he was able to get his job done. So, for example, when he needs to find something to block out his window, and they're doing paper mache, and everyone's making fun of him because his rock is square. And he's just like painting away. I don't care. I gotta get this. I need something to block this. I think that's hilarious. And so there are moments like that throughout the book that did keep me laughing, even when sometimes it got a little hard because, again, during that time, he's alone and the other kids can't talk to him because of the spiders, you know?
Yeah. I also liked when he discovers the lighthouse.
Oh, okay.
I guess, or an astronomy tower, lighthouse. Mm-hmm. Right?
I would say astronomy tower. Astronomy tower. Yeah. Giant
I just like the whole scene of him going out and being kind of like just awed by the stars and nature and just sitting out there. I think that's really cool, especially because, sometimes these days we're all on our computers and
you just don't take a moment.
Yeah, it's kind of nice to he's reminding us,
take a moment, look to the stars, think of possibilities. That it moves him so much, it moves him to tears.
Yes,
and that it moves Violet because she sees him from her window.
And she makes that wonderful picture of him on the bluffs.
Yeah, so I think it's that, sometimes you got to take a moment to appreciate things. And I think, again, as Nicholas progresses in the story, he appreciates more and more, not only the people in his life, but...
that was definitely a moment where you saw a softer side of him, not just always calculating what's the next move I make. Yeah. So that was a nice moment in the book.
And I also like that Nicholas was forgiving. So at the very end,
that's true.
Very forgiving. Because
I don't know if I could do it.
I don't know either. I think I'm like, the spiders are very mean in this book. Okay, guys, those 3 people are just horrible to these children, and they're children themselves too, and no one's teaching them better. But still, Nicholas finds a way to work with them so that they don't have to fight, because they all live in the orphanage. Why can't they do fun things together and enjoy each other and be friends? And so I really like when at the very end, when he's sneaking everyone back into the room, that he tells, he's like, hey, I can help you with homework, and then Iggy's like,
can you help with arithmetic or
spelling?
Yeah,
he's like, spelling. He's like, you got it. I can help you. Just let me know. And I like that. That brought a smile to my face. So, so there were some hard parts in this book, and there were some characters that I didn't like, and but there were some really great moments too. Which even some of the hard moments when Nicholas is just devastated when John is gone, I think you see he learns how to feel what it feels to lose somebody where he didn't have that experience before. So
I will say it was not my favorite book, but it was a good book.
Yeah, like I said, not my favorite book. But I enjoy longer books, and I just think I needed a little more friendship. Maybe early on in the book that probably might have made it a little bit better for me. But
would you read another book?
I don't know. I mean, this wasn't a bad book.
I'm gonna interject.
Okay.
Because I actually read the next book in the series, which is The Mysterious Benedict Society.
Okay.
So it's basically about when Nicholas has grown up and there's these 3 new orphans that he ends up taking in, and they go on adventures for him, basically.
Okay.
They're like his agents, secret agents.
Oh.
Almost. So having read The Mysterious Benedict Society, I really like that, but I think that's because it has a lot of the stuff I felt was missing from this book.
Okay.
Because the 3 orphans, there's 4 orphans, 4 orphans. And they basically are thrust into adventures, and it's all of them working together.
Okay.
It's friendship.
Okay, so then maybe I do have to. Then maybe I'll give another book a chance. And, I think it's a good thing to bring up in this conversation that sometimes a book is just not for you. It's okay to have favorite books, and it's okay to have books that maybe you didn't like. I just think that you should give every book a chance. And
I'm very glad we read it. I don't regret reading it. I thought it was good. It just was not my favorite.
Yeah, I mean, again, because we had so many good
ones. We just read so many good ones.
That it was really hard, you know, and then sometimes it's hard to pick amongst other books. So if you're comparing it to another book, I would say that this isn't going to be on my top 5 that we read this year, but it's not a bad book. And I would say that if you're interested in things like, you know, having a kid learn how to be a better friend and to learn to appreciate things, then, you know, check it out, you know. Yeah. And the audiobook's not bad either, because I listened to the audiobook too a little bit. So,
well, we also have some more recommendations for you guys. If you really liked, or maybe if you didn't like the Extraordinary Education of Nicholas Benedict, we have some recommendations for you.
Yeah, they're going to be kind of similar to it. So like this one is The Cavendish Home for Boys and Girls, and this is by Claire Legrand. And so this one deals again with a very smart kid. This time it's a girl named Victoria, and this time though, one of her best friends disappeared. And not just him, like a lot of kids are disappearing from the town. And so she's got to figure out, and that's the mystery, like what's going on. Now, there are grownups in this book though that are lying to her. She's got to understand like what is going on. How can she save the kids? How can she save her town? And it all surrounds Mrs. Cavendish's children's home. So let's see what's going on in that.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah, sounds like a really good book.
And we also have, the name of this book is A Secret. That's the title of it, by pseudonymous Bosch. So basically, I'm not supposed to tell you what this book is about because it's a secret, but I will give you some hints. It's about 2 friends, Cass and Max, who go on some crazy adventures, and they meet some nefarious villains, and crazy stuff happens. So that's all I can give you. But yeah, so this is, the name of this book is A Secret.
Very mysterious.
So that's our book talk for today. We will be back in January with more books. We haven't decided. We have a lot of books on our reading list, and we'd love to hear from you. If there is a book that you think that we have to read, please send that suggestion our way. But we're still deciding. Check back next week, and we will have posted on our Facebook what the book for January will be.
Yes, and then you can make a request at your library, and we're still doing curbside pickup. So, and you can get it on our Overdrive or Libby app.
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.